The next speaker is the Honorable Swathe.
Thank you very much, House Chairperson. South Africa's history of racial dispossession has left the country with skewed patterns of land ownership that excluded majority of black South Africans from the benefits of property ownership and the greater economy. The Native Land Act of 1913, which is considered the original sin of apartheid, set in motion these patterns of dislocation, deprivation that characterize property arrangements under the apartheid government. The Act reserved 87% of South Africa's land exclusively for white ownership and was the basis of Bantustan policy, which relegated black citizens and once prosperous black farmers to a reservoir of cheap, unskilled labor for white farmers and industrialists. An estimated 7 million Africans were forced to relocate to the areas assigned by the government at the time. The land question is therefore undoubtedly been one of the most pressing matters in the course of our 19 years of democracy. 19 years after the promulgation of the dreadful act, the question that needs to be answered then, Mr. Chairperson, is whether we are doing our ultimate best as public representatives to steer the country towards reconciliation, redress, though various land restitutions and land reform programs. This is a difficult question as government is faced with the task of balancing the interest of various stakeholders, the deprived majority, the farming communities, the industry stakeholders, government-run farms, among others. While we appreciate the enormity of the task at hand, it must be said that government is not doing enough. To date, billions of rands have been poured into the land restitution and reform initiatives. But the wheels of these particular vehicles turn slowly, and in some cases come to a complete halt. For many, the 1913 Land Act remains a reality. The DA supports sustainable and equitable land reform and rural development, and we view it as a moral necessity to correct the imbalances of the past, as it is a fundamental condition growing our economy to benefit all South Africans. Re rata go leboga puso ya democracy go hlola kgoro ya tšwelopele ya dinagamagae le mafase yeo e lebanego le go fediša mathata a dinaga tšeo di tšwetšego batho le go hlabolla dinaga tšeo. Re rata go lemoša magoši gore ba tlogele melao ya apartheid gomme ba šomiše melao ya democracy le tlhabologo ya setšhaba. Re leboga go bona dikenywa tša kgoro ye ya tša mafase le tšwelopele go tšeiwa ga naga morago ga mengwaga ye lekgolo le go feta. Le kgono re bolela ka taba ye gomme re dumela gore re fihlile bofelong. Re rata go bona batho bohle ba ne naga ba kgone go išomiša. Taba ya go šomiša naga e tla hlola mešomo gomme ya fodiša tlala le bohlodi. Re re mathata ao kgoro e lebaneng le gona a swanetše go fedišwa ka go thwala batho ba go ba le tsebo le go kgona go rarolla pharela ye ya go sepela ka go nanya ga go fa batho dinaga tša bona. Re re morago ga go lemoga gore batho bao ba filwe go dinaga ba bangwe ba tšona ga ba di šomiše ka mokgwa wa maleba, mmušo o swanetše go botšiša bakgopedi ba dinaga gore na maikemišetšo a bona ke eng ka dinaga tšeo. Bao ba senago maikemišetšo ba se fiwe dinaga eupša ba hlapišiwe matsogo ka mašeleng. Re le ba democratic alliance re ka thaba go bona lenaneo la pušetšo ya naga le sepetšwa ka molao le hlompho. Re rata go bona bahlankedi ba mmušo ba dira mošomo wa bona ka bogwari. Re lakatša go bona taba ya naga e fela ka bonako gore maAfrika Borwa a phele ka khutšo. Re le maAfrika Borwa a re se boele morago gomme a re tšweleng pele ka go aga setšhaba, re age naga e tee ka bokamoso bo tee. Re re ke nako ya go gatela pele le go tliša tlhabologo le kgolo ya ikonomi. Re rata go bona maAfrika Borwa a šoma mmogo. Because we understand the struggle of our people, we are very pleased as the DA to have played a part in standing alongside 200 resettled farmers in Gauteng, including Mr. Thabo Mokoni, who have waited for 10 years to receive the title deed to their land. The government has shuffled them back and forth while denying them the right to earn an income to support their families as they cannot engage in commercial activities without necessary paperwork. It remains an area of frustration for 200 farmers. We will continue to stand along them until they see the realization of their 10-year dream. Chairperson, between 1994 and 1994 and January this year, the state had acquired 4.123 million hectares for land redistribution at a cost of 12.9 billion rand. However, 16 billion rand had been spent over the same period to acquire 1.443 million hectares for restitution. 16 billion later, and the promise have to be 30% estimated, 82 million hectares of agricultural land in South Africa transferred to the land back to settle for the farmers is in pipeline. Almost 9,000 claimants remain unresolved. The number is certain to keep growing. Honorable Minister, we need more promises. We need more promises and assurances. We need decisive action. The bureaucracy in your office is exacerbated by the corruption and the running of state-owned farms. Recently, the DA uncovered the scandal of Kangela Trust Farms, where the beneficiaries whom the profits of the produce are intended to uplift, revealed that instead of improving their standard of living, are far worse off than they were before the state-owned initiative. Those appointed by the state are looting profits, lining their pockets, and neglecting those they are responsible for looking after. Chairperson, it is not a doom and gloom. There is hope. Land reform, land restitution, emerging farmers and communities can look to the future in anticipation of the fulfillment of their sense of security, because where the DA governs, we govern well. To quote the Western Cape Premier, Honorable Helen Zille, during our 1919 Land Act celebration, open quote, "We have prioritized finalization of land claims which had lingering unfinished under previous governments."
Order, honorable members, order.
We understand that justice delayed is justice denied. In the DA governed Western Cape, we are very happy that all but one of the land claims has been finalized, and the one outstanding claim is on a clear path to resolution, close quote. In terms of our successes in driving share equity scheme for the land reform on farms, our province remain in the lead in ensuring real redress, restoring the dignity of those who had robbed by the tyranny of apartheid, and laying the groundwork for reconciliation that breaks down the barriers from our past. The DA reiterates its mantra that we need to honor the past and own the future. Let us not repeat the past.
Honorable member, your time has
otherwise
expired.
the history will not forgive us. Let us build the South African dream of the Rainbow Nation. Thank you, Chairperson.